Okay, so imagine this. You win the lottery. We're talking a life-shattering amount of money. But then it's stolen from you by the one person you are supposed to trust more than anyone in the world. Well, for a middle school science teacher named Theodore Teo Bryant, this wasn't just some bad dream. It was his actual reality. So let's dive into the incredible story of how this teacher had to literally prove to the world that he was the rightful winner of a $52 million jackpot. And this is the threat that Teo's wife of 14 years, Nicole, threw at him just days after she claimed his prize. It's a seriously chilling statement that just perfectly sets the stage for the unbelievable betrayal and the nasty legal fight that was about to unfold.
And this is what it was all about. $52 million, a Powerball jackpot. After taxes and taking the lump sum, that comes out to over 31 million bucks. I mean, that is the kind of money that can change your life, or, as we're about to see, completely destroy one.
All right, so let's get right to the most shocking part of this whole story, the moment where Teo's life just completely unraveled. This is where that stolen fortune turned into an act of just unimaginable cruelty. It's honestly hard to even wrap your head around this. With his lottery winnings, Nicole hired some seriously aggressive lawyers, got an emergency court order, and had Teo, her husband of 14 years, thrown out of their own home. And to just twist the knife even deeper, she and her new lover, a guy named Desmond Clark, stood right there in the doorway drinking wine as the police escorted a completely stunned Teo off the property. So the big question is, how on earth did it get to this point? Well, to really understand the theft, you have to understand the marriage. We're going to rewind a little bit and look at the cracks that were forming way before any lottery ticket was even in the picture. I mean, the contrast between these two was just night and day. On one side, you've got Teo, a dedicated teacher, totally content with his simple life, a guy who lives by routine and, completely trusted his wife. And then, on the other side, there's Nicole. She's getting more and more secretive, more materialistic, and just openly hating the life that Teo was providing. All these so-called networking events and secret trips, yeah, those were the first major red flags that something was seriously wrong. And then, the moment it all came crashing down, Teo sees a text pop up on Nicole's phone from that same guy, Desmond Clark. With, I'm sure, trembling hands, he starts scrolling and uncovers 10 straight months of betrayal. We're talking intimate photos, plans for secret trips, messages where they're literally mocking Teo's simple life. She had been living an entire double life for almost a year, all while planning a new future that didn't include him at all. So after winning the jackpot and then finding out the ticket is missing from its usual hiding spot in the kitchen drawer, Teo's world could have just completely fallen into chaos. But this is where his methodical, scientific mind just took over. He didn't panic. He gathered evidence. Teo handled this exactly like the science teacher he is. He finds the ticket in Nicole's locked desk, and right there with it are her handwritten notes on how to claim it, and divorce papers. But he doesn't confront her, no. Instead, he just calmly photographs everything: the ticket serial number, her notes, the business card from a wealth manager. Then he digs up his debit card receipt proving he bought it. It was an absolute masterclass in collecting evidence. And this contrast right here became the entire foundation of his legal case. Teo's story was precise and totally verifiable. Who, where, when, and how. Nicole's story, which she told the Lottery Commission under oath, was really vague and, as it turned out, super easy to disprove. She lied about the single most important detail: where she bought the ticket. And that was a fatal mistake. So now, armed with this folder just packed with undeniable proof, Teo was ready to fight back. And this wasn't just about the money anymore. This was about justice. He was about to go up against a woman who now had a $31 million war chest. Teo used his entire life savings to hire a PI and managed to get one of Philadelphia's best attorneys, Patricia Keene. And when she saw his meticulous folder of evidence, she immediately took the case on contingency. The strategy was simple and aggressive: sue for fraud, get the assets frozen, and prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Teo was the sole purchaser and the rightful owner. And this is the power of simple routine and integrity. James Rivera, the guy who owned the corner store, had known Teo for over a decade. His sworn testimony established a 14-year pattern of behavior that was just impossible for Nicole's expensive lawyers to argue against.
He was a pillar of credibility for the whole case. And here it is, the smoking gun. The security cameras at Rivera's store caught absolutely everything. Clear footage of Teo at 6:47 p.m. on that Thursday, buying the winning ticket with his own debit card. This one piece of evidence made his claim legally undeniable. Game over. From this point on, Nicole's lies just avalanched. Her own Google searches showed her researching how to hide lottery winnings from a spouse before the ticket even won. Her lover, Desmond, seeing the writing on the wall, flipped and agreed to testify against her to save his own skin. And then, in a final desperate move, she was caught on camera trying to bribe the store owner. The case against her was completely airtight. With that overwhelming mountain of evidence, the case went to trial. The conclusion was as fast as it was dramatic, and Nicole's stolen empire came crashing down all around her. The judge's words were absolute. The court didn't just rule that Teo owned the ticket. It explicitly said that Nicole had, quote, knowingly and intentionally misappropriated her husband's property and made false statements. It was a complete and total vindication for Teo. So what happened to all that money? Well, in just 10 weeks, Nicole managed to burn through nearly $9 million. I mean, this just gives you a sense of the sheer recklessness. A $5.3 million mansion, over $1 million to pay off her lover's debts, hundreds of thousands on cars, parties, shopping. It was just a staggering display of arrogance. And the final comparison of their fates is just staggering. Nicole lost everything. She was left with just $11,000. That's less than 10% of what she'd offered Teo to just go away. She lost her job, her friends, and ended up in a tiny apartment making less money than Teo ever did. Teo, on the other hand, was awarded the entire remaining prize, went back to his passion for teaching, and was celebrated everywhere for his quiet strength. But the story doesn't end with the verdict. Because what Teo did next with his fortune is maybe the most incredible part of this entire saga. It's a real testament to his character. After everything he had been through, Teo didn't go on some crazy spending spree. Instead, he took the majority of his winnings, a breathtaking $45 million, and he established an education fund to support Philadelphia public schools. He took care of his family, paying off all their mortgages. He bought a modest home for himself, wrote a book about his experience, and eventually, he went back to the classroom. He turned a story of absolute betrayal into a legacy of generosity and found a new life, proving that his character was never ever defined by money. And that really just leaves us with this one question. In a world that so often celebrates wealth above everything else, Teo Bryan's story forces us to stop and ask what we truly value. You could say he won $52 million twice, once on a little piece of paper, and a second time by refusing to let betrayal destroy who he was.